We use the internet every single day, right? For literally everything, from sending a quick email to streaming a whole movie. But have you ever stopped to think about how it actually works? I mean, it really feels like magic, doesn't it? Information just appears. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that magic trick. We are going to follow the incredible, super high-speed journey your data takes every single time you click a button.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. You type a web address into your browser, you hit enter, and bam! Less than a blink of an eye later, a full web page from maybe halfway across the planet just shows up on your screen. So what is going on in that tiny little split second? That is the exact question we are going to answer right now.
At its most basic level, pretty much everything you do online is just this: one computer sending a request to find and talk to another one. That's it. Doesn't matter if you're liking a photo or buying concert tickets, you're just starting a conversation between your device and some server somewhere out there on this giant global network.
So if your computer needs to talk to another computer, what's the very first thing it needs? An address, right? I mean, it's just like sending a letter. You can't send the message if you have no idea where it's supposed to go. This is step one on our packet's big adventure.
The best way to think about this is like a massive global phone book for the entire internet. We're human, so we remember names, like example.com. But computers, they think in numbers. The Domain Name System, or DNS for short, is the absolutely essential service that translates the name you type into the specific numerical address the computer actually understands and needs. And this whole lookup process, it's incredibly simple and unbelievably fast. Your browser just shoots off a request asking, "Hey, what's the number for this website?" The DNS server checks its giant directory, finds the matching number, that's the IP address, and sends it right back. And just like that, your computer has the destination address and knows exactly where to send your request.
Okay, so we've got the address, awesome. The next step is to actually get our message ready and send it out. But here's the thing, the internet doesn't just send your entire request in one big piece. Oh no, it does something way more clever and a whole lot more efficient.
Now, this is a huge difference in how the internet was designed. The old telephone systems used something called circuit switching, where you'd open a direct, dedicated line just for your call. Kind of wasteful if nobody's talking, right? The internet does the complete opposite. It uses packet switching. It takes all your data, whether it's an email or a 4K movie, and chops it up into these tiny little pieces called packets. It's kind of like tearing a book into individual pages and mailing each one separately. They all find their own way to the destination, and this is so much more efficient because everybody gets to share the same digital roads.
So how do all these individual packets, these separate pages of our book, know where to go? It's pretty simple, actually. Every single one is stamped with that destination IP address we got from the DNS lookup earlier. It's the full, specific mailing address on the front of every digital envelope, and it's what guides it through the internet's maze.
And who reads that address? Well, that's the job of routers. You can think of them like the traffic cops, or maybe the postal workers of the internet. A router's job is surprisingly straightforward. It gets a packet, it takes a quick look at the destination IP address, and then it forwards it to the next router that's just a little bit closer to where it needs to go. And this happens over and over and over again, millions of times a second, all over the world.
All right, so this whole system, breaking data into tiny pieces and letting them all find their own way, it sounds a little chaotic, doesn't it? I mean, what if some packets get lost? Or what if they show up in the wrong order? Well, the brilliant people who designed the internet thought of that, and they built an amazing system to manage all that chaos.
And that's really the trade-off with packet switching. It's super fast and super efficient, but delivery isn't guaranteed. A packet might hit a traffic jam at a router and just get dropped. Another one might take a weird scenic route and show up late. If we just took the packets as they arrived, our data would be a complete, jumbled, unusable mess.
And this is where the Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP, comes in to save the day. If the network is the regular mail service, think of TCP as a registered mail. It gives you tracking and delivery confirmation. Before anything is sent, TCP puts a number on every single packet. Then, the computer on the other end keeps a checklist, and if any packets are missing, it just asks for them to be sent again. Once it has every single one, it puts them all back in the right order. This is so important. TCP provides the reliability that the network itself doesn't promise.
So we've seen how a packet gets its address, how it gets sent across the world, and how it arrives safely. But underneath this whole process is one simple, powerful, elegant idea that is the real secret to why the internet has been so successful.
This is it, the end-to-end principle. And it's a simple idea, but it's absolutely profound. It says that the core of the network, all those routers in the middle, should be kept as simple or as dumb as possible. Their only job is to move packets from A to B as best they can. They don't know what's in those packets. They don't care. All the smart stuff, like the error checking with TCP or assembling the final web page, that all happens at the ends of the network, on your device and on the server.
This quote really says it all, doesn't it? The internet itself isn't the web, it isn't email, it isn't Netflix. The internet is just the communication system that lets all those applications exist. The network is just the messenger. The real magic happens in the applications themselves. So why does this matter so much? Because by keeping the network simple, the internet's creators made it a wide open platform for innovation. You don't have to call up a big company and ask for permission to build a new app. Nope. As long as your application can break its data into packets and slap an address on them, it'll work. It's this philosophy that allowed the web, streaming video, social media, and everything else to be built on top of the exact same network. So, the next time you click a link, I want you to remember that journey. A quick DNS lookup for the address, your data chopped into tiny TCP-managed packets, guided by routers across a simple, dumb network, and then put back together by the smart devices at either end. And that really leaves us with a final question, doesn't it? This incredibly powerful yet simple principle has already changed the world completely. So if the network's only job is to deliver packets, what are we going to build with it next?